we're going to probably dip into a revolving line of credit so that we still have cash to make all the other signings. And oh man, do I think we're going to make a lot of whole other signings. Point is that management that's in place there isn't exactly a management that we can say has a good head on their shoulders and they make good decisions and know how to negotiate. So this might end up being a much longer transfer saga than we think it is, or it should be. And for those of you who don't understand why I can imagine Dan Ashworth walking into the Everton offices with a bunch of cash in his hands, is because I know for a fact that he's still not allowed to use his email account at work without adult supervision, because they're all scared and nervous that he might accidentally CC Newcastle again. Idiot. Basically what's happening, if you tell a player, I want you to sit out one more year with that club and then come to us for free, you're basically making the player pay for you. Hey guys, I just got done editing the video. This one turned out to be longer than I thought. I was actually just trying to make it like a 5 to 8 minute video, but we had a lot to talk about. A lot of things had happened in the last 2 days, and I'm glad I got to make a video tonight, although I was working late. And I just wanted to say thank you for clicking on the video and watching, and I'm so excited about this summer. Like I told you guys from a month or two ago that we are going to spend a lot of money this summer. INEOS is doing a lot of good things, actually. And those of you who've been with me for a while know that I was super pessimistic about INEOS. I still have a little bit of a worry because I still know that they are here to help the Glazers make the company more profitable, but at least they know that making the company more profitable means the team has to play better and achieve better things. So anyway, with that said, let's get right into the video. See you guys soon. Hey, what's up? We're back. I just had to make a video today. It just feels like in the last day or two, so many things have been happening. I mean, don't get me wrong, we haven't made a signing yet, at least not by the time that I'm shooting this video, but it just feels like a bunch of signings are coming soon. It feels like when the first domino falls, the next 1 or 2 or even 3 aren't going to be that far behind. Who knows? By the time you're watching this, we may have already gotten our first "here we go" for the summer. That sounded more like Mario than it sounded like Fab. My bad. Totally sounded like Mario. Come on, Luigi, let's go save the princess. Man, that's really bad. Anyway, if I was a betting man, I would bet that the first "here we go" is going to be about Joshua Zirkzee. And there's a lot of reasons for that. Number one, it's because we already have a deal with the player, and that I think we're ready to even trigger his, his buyout clause or release clause. But we want to first work out a deal with Bologna and see if they'll take a couple million more so that we don't have to pay the whole thing up front, so we can divide it into payments. So we don't actually trigger his release clause per se, because triggering means we're going to pay the whole thing. And instead, we do it in payments and amortize it over 4 or 5 years, however long his contract's going to be. The reason for that, I believe, is that so that we don't dip into our revolving line of credit. I don't think INEOS really wants to use a revolving line of credit, and if we have to pay $40 million right now, we're not going to use the cash that we have. We're going to probably dip into a revolving line of credit so that we still have cash to make all the other signings. And oh man, do I think we're going to make a lot of whole other signings. I mean, I said in my last video that I feel like we're going to have 6 to 8 signings this summer, and it's starting to really unfold that way. I mean, I think you guys are starting to see it now. And I said a month ago that we would spend at least 250 million pounds, or not pounds, or euros, and we'll still be under FFP. And you're starting to see that, like, well, if we're going to do deals for Zirkzee, De Ligt, Ugarte, we already had a bid accepted for Leny Yoro. Doesn't mean we're going to get them. We're going to talk about that too in this video by the time I get to it, but I got a lot to cover. So stay with me. And let's get back on track. So anyway, like I said, I don't think INEOS wants to dip into our revolving line of credit. You want to kind of hold on to that. Keep that as an emergency fund in case there's a great deal that pops up or an opportunity that pops up at the end of the window. Like imagine last week of August and Benfica says, okay, we'll take 70 million euros for João Neves. And if you haven't paid up front for Joshua Zirkzee 40 million, then you have that revolving line of credit you can dip into and make a big deal like the João Neves deal happened. If it happens, fingers crossed, I really want that kid. So I'm hoping something like that happens. I'm hoping Benfica needs some money. They haven't made any sales yet this summer. It's early in the summer. Who knows who they will end up selling, but hopefully they will end up having to make a sale. I think they thought they were going to get away with selling Antonio Silva, but it looks like not a lot of people are actually interested in Antonio Silva. So maybe they will have to be forced into selling Joao Neves. Also, there's rumors that he might even put in a transfer request and kind of force their hand and make them drop this price. I don't know. These are just rumors coming out of Portugal. They may mean absolutely nothing. So we'll see. But back to the business at hand. Joshua Zirkzee. I believe he will be the first, here we go, coming from Fabrizio, and I think it's going to come soon. I think the Netherlands play tomorrow. I have no idea what happened in that game, and I know you probably already do when you're watching the show. I don't know. So I'm saying after Holland is out of the tournament, the Euros, whether that's tomorrow or whether it's not. Sorry, England fans. If it's not, I don't know what happened. I'm doing this the day before. Anyway, that's when I think Manchester United and Bologna will finish up that deal, and it'll either be pay it all up front and use the revolving line of credit if need be, or hopefully they'll take a couple million more and do the payments over the 5-year contract that we'll sign them for. So that's one deal, I think, done. Now, the next one we need to talk about is De Ligt. We all know that we're interested in Matthijs De Ligt, but we also know that Bayern Munich are not easy to negotiate with. I think a lot of people thought this deal was closer to happening than it actually is. And then yesterday we heard from Ornstein and Plettigol that they're actually not that close to closing this deal. Bayern Munich and Manchester United are not close to agreeing on a fee. De Ligt is definitely wanting to come to us, and he's willing to take a pay cut, which is awesome to hear. It's always great to know that a player actually wants to come to your club. But Bayern Munich are going to treat Manchester United the way everybody's always treated Manchester United, and they're going to try to get the top dollar out of them. They're going to try to get all the money they can out of our club. Now, we have new owners, and our new owners have to play ball the right way and make sure that that reputation changes. We all know that. We've all talked about it because we talked about it with the Jarrad Branthwaite and Everton stuff. So the question is, though, are we going to be able to come to terms with Bayern Munich in a timely manner so De Ligt can come in before we go on tour? Obviously, I don't think he'll make it to the tour because I think he's got to go on holiday for at least 10 days or maybe 2 weeks. Maybe he will meet up with the team while they're on tour. I don't know, but it is kind of worrisome to me because Bayern Munich can be stubborn, especially with these new owners. They've proven that new management that they have over there, they've proven that they're stubborn. They've made a lot of mistakes in the last 2 months, letting go of their manager and then not being able to replace that manager and then trying to get that manager to sign on and stay on. And he said, no, I'm leaving. And then they end up with Company, which everybody's flabbergasted about, and everybody's trying to figure out how the heck Company landed such a good role with Bayern Munich. Now, I'm not saying that to say anything negative about Vincent Kompany. For all I know, he could be a great manager, but let's be real. Bayern Munich did try to sign 3 or 4 different managers before they settled on Vincent Kompany. So he wasn't exactly first choice, second choice, third choice. They actually even tried to get Thomas Tuchel to stay before they even considered bringing in Vincent Kompany. So I don't know how long he'll end up staying there. He has to do one hell of a job to stay there. But the point is that management that's in place there isn't exactly a management that we can say has a good head on their shoulders and they make good decisions and know how to negotiate. So this might end up being a much longer transfer saga than we think it is or it should be. De Ligt wants to leave. They don't even need him, and we want to get him. But they might make it difficult and make it take a long time. Let's see. Fingers crossed this gets taken care of really quickly. I mean, the good thing is we keep hearing Fabrizio Romano say, the boy is only focused on one club. His only focus is Manchester United. He is not negotiating with any other clubs. He loves the club. He wants to play for Erik Ten Hag, who calls him every day. Man, I hope I just did that justice. I don't know. But anyway, that is what Fabrizio Romano is telling us about 3 times a day, whether that's in a video or a tweet. I mean, this is all we keep hearing. So De Ligt really wants to come. Hopefully that deal can be soaked up and done in time. Did I sound like Mario there again? I don't know. Okay, so the next story is we heard Manchester United went back in for another bid on Jarrad Branthwaite. I just picture Dan Ashworth walking into their Everton offices with a bunch of cash in his hands going, okay, you win. We're going to pay you a little bit more. Here's a little bit more. Now give us the boy. And then some guy from Everton who I picture looking like this guy and saying, you can stick that money right up your ass. I mean, you guys paid $80 million for this. And he'd have a point, kind of. He'd have a point. Now, INEOS wasn't the people who paid $80 million for Harry Maguire, but he does have a point in that we have paid that kind of money for a defender before, who I don't even know we can say had all the skill sets that, what's his name, Branthwaite has. Now, just because we paid that in the past and we were dumb enough to pay that in the past doesn't mean we should pay that right now. And the other thing is we have to be careful, because now I'm hearing that we might or are considering going in with a third bid. I don't know how much higher we're going to go here, but I hope it's not 60 or 65. I hope we only go 5 million higher, or we just don't go in at all. And it's not because I don't value Jarrad Branthwaite, but like I said just 5 seconds ago, we are still negotiating with Bayern Munich for De Ligt, and Bayern Munich is playing hardball. If they see that we don't take no for an answer and we keep going in with another bid and we go in with another bid, what's to stop Bayern Munich to go, okay, we're just going to keep saying no until Manchester United gives us exactly what we want, because that's what Everton's doing and they're getting away with it. We've got to learn to walk away. And I know INEOS is trying to walk away too. Like, I know they want to put their foot down. They don't want to overpay. But they have to understand that, like, going in for a third bid is not a good look. I don't think it's a good look unless it's only for 5 million more and the bid closes. It's not a good look, especially because you just made a smaller bid for one of the best defenders, one of the best young prospect defenders at Lille, Leny Yoro, who God, please hope he actually joins the club. We're going to talk a little bit more about that. And they actually accepted the bid. Now, obviously, those are different circumstances because he only has 1 year left on his contract, and their options are either accept our bid or take less than half of that from Real Madrid or let him go for free next season. So, yeah, I understand that there are different circumstances, but the truth is Branthwaite's not worth more than 50. He's just not. I don't care how good some people think he is. He's not worth more than 50. 50 is a pretty darn good price for a player who's still learning his trade, who still may or may not reach the heights that we all think he may or may not reach, right? So I don't know if we should go in for a third bid. I just don't know. Yes, he's somewhat two-footed and he's tall and he's kind of quick and whatever. A third bid just makes you look weak. So I hope if we do go in for a third bid, I hope we do it quickly, like tomorrow. Hopefully by the time you're watching this, we've already gone in for a third bid. And we either got the yes or no, and that's it. We're done. Like, we're not doing this again. No fourth bid. This is already getting ridiculous. What do you guys think? Comment down below. Am I out of my mind? Am I crazy? Do you agree with me? Should we even be considering a third bid? Forget who he is and forget how good or bad you think he is. No matter who he is, if we're trying to change our culture or change our reputation or whatever, should we even be going in for a third bid? Even if he was Vinicius Jr. and there was a chance to get him, should we be going in for a third bid when you're trying to change your reputation? Comment down below. And by the way, while we're at it, I want to say thank you, really thank you to everybody who dropped a like on our last video. I had never gotten over 50 likes before, and we reached something like 120 likes in like 3.5 days. And I got over 60 new subscribers, and it honestly hit me. It almost made me emotional, to be honest. I had to like check it twice one morning because I woke up on like the third day that it was posted, and my viewer count went up from like 600 to like 1.6 thousand. So I got 1,000 views overnight, which had never happened to me before. And it's because the likes were so high, I'm guessing, because the likes were over 80, and I had never even gotten over 45 before. And I was like, what's going on? I had to refresh the page and check again. And it was true. It was real. It wasn't a glitch in the system. And I'm really happy with that. Thank you very much to everybody out there. And, if you're still here, if you're still watching this, you like what I do, drop a like for this one too. Let's see if we can get there. I hope I don't sound like I'm pushing my luck here. Thanks again for the last one. That's really all I wanted to say. And let's get right back into the video. Let's keep it moving. Leny Yoro. Oh man, what can I say about Leny Yoro that everybody else hasn't already said? So let me tell you where I'm coming from with this. And let me tell you why I actually hold out hope that we're actually going to sign this kid. And he's actually going to say, I want to go to Manchester United. All right, here we go. Here's my logic behind it. I think that we are really, really close with Jorge Mendes. I think that Jorge Mendes and INEOS or Sir Jim Ratcliffe have a pretty good relationship. We already know that they've had meetings before, and we already know Sir Jim Ratcliffe and Jorge Mendes have had phone conversations before, right when he took over Manchester United, or right when he got involved with Manchester United, let's say. So they do have a very good working relationship. Jorge Mendes is Leny Yoro's agent, last I heard. Maybe I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, correct me in the comments, guys, because I'm really going off like what I remember from like a month or two ago. And maybe I'm remembering this wrong, but Leny Yoro is signed to Jorge Mendes' agency. That's what I remember. And I don't think we go in with a bid unless we were encouraged to go in with a bid. I just don't think we make a bid in the blind and that we take a risk like that and put our name and reputation up there. You know that bid is going to leak. You know right away that bid's going to leak when you make it because of who the agent is and because you know that the other club is trying to make sure that that story is out there so that there's more pressure on the player and there's more pressure on Real Madrid to do something with the situation, make a decision that's different than the other one, which is sit it out and go for free. So definitely the bid was made with a chance that Leny Yoro would make a decision to come. And I don't think he's going to get that long, right? So he should probably get till the end of the week. So by Friday, we'll probably know which way this is leaning. I don't think they're going to give him way more than the end of the week. By the end of now everybody's holidays who didn't play in the Euros is over. People are going back to training. So he's going to have to make a decision soon. And the president of the other team is going to try to push him to come to us so that the team can profit and make more money. This is his childhood team. I think maybe that could have some sort of influence on him. The other issue is that Florentino Perez is just rolling like he's Tony Soprano lately. I mean, the last couple of years, the guy's been really rolling like he's Tony Soprano. He basically thinks that if you don't want to come to Real Madrid, then you're an idiot. And you'll come to Real Madrid on my terms and accept whatever way I want to bring you to Real Madrid. And if that means I tell you sit down and wait for another year and come for free, then that's what you do. If you really want to be here, that's what you do. And it's basically like you don't show the player that you think he's worth anything. You really don't. You just go, look, we think you're good. We think you're good, but we're not going to pay for you. You're going to pay for us. And that's basically what's happening. If you tell a player, I want you to sit out one more year with that club and then come to us for free, you're basically making the player pay for you. Imagine that, because you're going to take a lower pay for another year before you come. And if there's any kind of commission to be made off your sale, you're getting none of that because there is no commission to get made. Or maybe you get a little sweet kickback. But let's say you don't want to wait. So you're like forcing your club to take that 20 million euro offer that Real Madrid, it was actually less. It was like 17 million euro offer that Real Madrid made to Lille to get him now this summer, whereas Manchester United is making 50 million with add-ons, granted, but it's still 50 million compared to 17. If there's any commission to be made for the agents and for the player, it's going to be a heck of a lot less, if any at all, for that 17 million euro price. So you basically are making the player pay to play for you. Whether that's with time or actual money, it's still the player paying the price to play for Real Madrid. This is how this man rolls. He literally rolls like he's Tony Soprano. I mean, just a couple of years ago, he was telling UEFA, if you don't do what I want you to do, I'm going to gather all the big European teams and go start a Super League and do whatever I want to do. And he would have run the Super League, by the way, if it started, because he's the head guy of that. That's how this man rolls. This man does not roll like a normal person. And it's a little bit our fault. It's kind of our fault. It's these two idiots who've been running our club for 10 years after Sir Alex Ferguson, who hired this other idiot and made nothing but bad decisions, did not make any good runs in the Champions League, and basically Real Madrid got to win a bunch of Champions Leagues in the last decade without us there challenging or being a thorn in their side or kicking them out and winning a couple ourselves to make sure that they're not just the biggest dog in town. Now he's gone a little bit uncontrollable. His head is this big. I mean, Barcelona is in financial ruin, so they can't even control this man and bring his ego back down. He basically thinks he's awesome, right? He thinks his team is the best. And I get why he thinks that, but man, he needs an ego check. I actually like Real Madrid. if you watch my past videos, I always say good things about Real Madrid. I like Real Madrid. I like their team. I wish we had most of the players in their squad. But the problem is the way this man operates gets under my skin. So I hope Leny Yoro has a good think, has a good talk with his agent, realizes that he'd be more valued as a member of Manchester United than he would be at Real Madrid, where he's having to actually pay to go there. And I hope he realizes also like the difference in fan bases. You make 1 or 2 mistakes at Real Madrid and the whole fan base gets on you. You make 1 or 2 mistakes as an 18 or 19-year-old defender at Manchester United, and we tend to try to help lift you up. I will say one thing about our fan base. I think our fan base is pretty damn awesome. I'm not saying that we don't turn on players. Like, there were some ugly things that happened with Marcus Rashford last season, but I will say that it kind of reached a boiling point with that. It reached a boiling point to where Marcus has just been too inconsistent for far too long, and some people just reach their limit, if you will. I'm not excusing it, and I don't think it's right. I think you need to support your players. I think you need to be behind your players and back your players. That doesn't mean that I don't wish to sell some of my players, our players. But I think that when they're out there playing for you, you need to back them. But then, you strengthen the squad every time a transfer window opens. And if that means you let a couple players go, then you let a couple players go. Look, long story short, I hope the kid has a long think about it, talks to his manager, talks to his family and friends, and maybe they decide that maybe the best move is to come to Manchester United, where obviously we value him more than Real Madrid are willing to pay or value him at. And comes in, puts on the red shirt, and starts to play for us and grows in the Premier League. Look, the Premier League is still the best league in the world. I don't care what anybody says. Real Madrid might be the best club in the world, but the Premier League is the best league in the world. You're going over Real Madrid, and half your games are against teams that have no chance of beating you. What is that? That's bullshit, to be honest with you. Whereas in the Premier League, almost every game is a battle. Almost every game is a hard game, and you're gonna excel. You're gonna learn more. You're gonna get better. And then in the end, after 4 or 5 or 6 years at Manchester United, if you want to still go to Real Madrid, then you've earned that right. And as long as they're willing to pay what you're worth at the time, I guess you go. We've lost players to Real Madrid before. It's okay. They did really well while they were with us, and you wish them well and you let them go if that's their real dream. But right now, Real Madrid, I think, are being a little bit conceited and not valuing the player. So hopefully that's enough and he comes to us. All right, let's move on. No more Leny Yoro talk. I don't want to hold my breath on that one. And by the time you watch this video, that whole saga might have already been over, and he's already committed to Real Madrid, and Real Madrid somehow got him to turn us down. Anyway, so should we talk about outgoings, or is this video getting too long? This video is probably getting too long. I will talk about outgoing some more in my next video if we don't have other stuff to talk about, because outgoing talk is a little bit boring other than the Mason Greenwood saga, which looks like it's coming to an end. Marseille bid a really good amount, and we got this huge sell-on clause, 50%, so it's great. I know you guys all probably already know about it, so I'm not going to go into detail. The only problem is the mayor of Marseille actually came out and said all these negative things about Mason Greenwood and how he's not happy that the club is even considering signing him, and that he's going to talk to the president of the club to convince them not to sign him. So by the time you watch this video, that whole deal might have fallen apart, and that's not good for us because we could really use that money. And if that deal falls apart, then Lazio is going to swoop in for a lot less money because we're going to be desperate, and they're going to get him, and we're going to get probably 10 million less. So I hope this mayor of Marseille doesn't have a big following and his voice isn't that big. Hopefully the fans of the team are more interested in getting a good player than they are interested in politics, and they let their voices be heard. Now, if the mayor is beloved and he has a big following, then you never know. The fans might uproar, and then the president of the club might have to back away from the deal to sign Mason Greenwood. I hope that doesn't happen. I hope we finalize this deal and get Mason off our books. Not because I don't respect Mason as a player, guys. I just think that this is a saga that needs to come to an end, because obviously they don't want to have Mason Greenwood return to the team. So any of you guys that was hoping Mason was going to return to the team, I'm sorry. It's not my decision. It's not even my opinion. I'm not saying I'm one way or the other. I'm just saying I'm not going to have an opinion because it seems like they've already made up their mind. And what's the point in me having an opinion when the writing's already on the wall, guys? He's leaving. And it's not a bad or good thing. It's probably the right thing, though. It's probably the right thing to do. So I will say that. That's it. That's it for today. Thank you very much for being with me. If you've been with me for this long, you watched this video until the end, please consider dropping a like. If you haven't subscribed, I had like 2,000 views on the last video and I only have 270 subscribers, something like that. Help me out, guys. Hit that subscribe button, hit a like, and stay tuned. I'm coming back soon. I'm sure it is going to be a big summer. It's going to be a great summer. Thank you, guys. Bye.